Navigating the emotional terrain of caregiving. Understanding and overcoming caregiver guilt. Caregiving, a role filled with compassion and responsibility, often brings with it an unexpected companion, guilt. Understanding caregiver guilt, its roots, and its manifestations, is crucial for those in the caregiving community. This article delves into the definition and various scenarios of caregiver guilt, aiming to provide insights and support for caregivers grappling with this emotional challenge. What is caregiver guilt? Caregiver guilt is a common emotional response experienced by individuals who provide care for family members, friends, or others. It often stems from feelings of inadequacy or the belief that they are not doing enough for their loved one. This type of guilt can arise from several factors, including societal expectations, personal standards, and the inherent pressures of caregiving. Common scenarios leading to caregiver guilt. Caregiver guilt manifests in various situations, each with its unique triggers and emotional complexities. Below are some common scenarios where caregiver guilt is prominently experienced. Feeling guilty for not caring for parents. Many caregivers struggle with guilt over not being able to provide care for their aging parents. This guilt is often intensified when balancing caregiving with other responsibilities like work or raising children. The feeling that they are not doing enough or are neglecting their parental duties can be overwhelming. Guilt over nursing home decisions. One of the most challenging decisions a caregiver faces is the possibility of placing a spouse or parent in a nursing home. This decision can trigger profound guilt, stemming from the thought that they are abandoning their loved one or not fulfilling their promise to take care of them. The emotional toll of moving away. Caregivers who move away from their elderly parents for professional or personal reasons often experience guilt. This guilt is compounded by concerns over their parents' well-being and the fear that they are not there to provide necessary support. Strategies to cope with caregiver guilt. Accepting the complexity of caregiving. Understand that caregiving is multifaceted and challenging. Acknowledging this complexity can help in rationalizing feelings of guilt. Seeking support. Joining caregiver support groups or seeking professional counseling can provide a platform to share experiences and gain perspective. Setting realistic expectations. Caregivers need to set achievable goals for themselves and understand their limits. Accepting that not everything is under their control can alleviate feelings of guilt. Practicing self-care. Caregivers should prioritize their well-being, as neglecting their health can exacerbate feelings of guilt and burnout. Understanding the origins of caregiver guilt. Caregiver guilt is a multifaceted emotion that stems from various sources. It's essential to recognize these origins to address and manage the guilt effectively. Societal expectations and cultural norms. One of the primary roots of caregiver guilt lies in societal expectations. Many cultures and societies place a high value on caring for aging or sick family members. This societal norm often translates into an internalized belief that failing to personally provide all aspects of care is a form of neglect or abandonment. The pressure to live up to these expectations can lead caregivers to feel guilty, even when they are doing their utmost. Personal beliefs and self-imposed standards. Caregivers often hold themselves to high standards, believing that they must provide perfect care. These self-imposed expectations can lead to feelings of inadequacy and guilt, especially when faced with the realities of caregiving, which often include unexpected challenges and the need to balance other life responsibilities. Coping with caregiver guilt in dementia care. It's crucial for dementia caregivers to find ways to cope with guilt. Understanding that dementia caregiving is particularly challenging and that feelings of guilt are natural can be the first step towards managing these emotions. Seeking support and education. Joining support groups, engaging with other caregivers, and educating oneself about dementia can help caregivers understand they are not alone in their experiences. This support can be instrumental in alleviating guilt. Setting realistic expectations. Recognizing the limitations of what one person can provide, especially in the context of a progressive condition like dementia, is essential. Caregivers should give themselves permission to seek help, whether from family, friends, or professional services. Practicing self-compassion. Caregivers need to practice self-compassion, understanding that feeling overwhelmed or needing help does not equate to failure. Acknowledging and accepting these feelings can help in reducing guilt. Caregiver guilt, particularly in the context of dementia care, is a complex emotion influenced by societal norms, personal beliefs, and the unique challenges of caregiving. By understanding its roots, caregivers can begin to address and manage these feelings, leading to a more balanced and emotionally healthy caregiving experience. It is important for caregivers to remember that seeking help and support is not a sign of weakness, but a necessary step in providing the best possible care for their loved ones and themselves. Guilt management techniques. Mindfulness practices. Mindfulness involves staying present and fully engaging with the current moment without judgment. It can help caregivers become more aware of their guilt and manage it effectively. Mindful breathing. This involves focusing on your breath, which can help calm the mind and reduce feelings of guilt. Mindfulness meditation. Regular meditation can increase self-awareness and provide a space to process and release feelings of guilt. The importance of balanced caregiving. Balancing caregiving with self-care is essential. Guilt often arises when caregivers neglect their own needs. Prioritizing your health and well-being is not selfish. It's necessary for providing effective care. Managing and overcoming caregiver guilt is a journey that involves understanding the roots of guilt, setting realistic expectations, practicing self-compassion, and seeking support. Employing mindfulness and cognitive behavioral strategies can also be effective in managing these feelings. Remember, being a caregiver does not mean you have to do it all alone or be perfect. It's about doing the best you can, and sometimes the best includes taking care of yourself too. Encouragement for caregivers. To all caregivers, know that your role is both vital and challenging, and it's okay to feel overwhelmed at times. Remember, acknowledging and addressing feelings of guilt is a sign of strength, not weakness. It shows a deep commitment not only to the well-being of your loved ones, but also to your own. Conclusion. Caregiving is a journey that requires compassion, resilience, and support. Acknowledging and addressing caregiver guilt is a crucial part of this journey. Caregivers are encouraged to seek support, practice self-care, and set realistic expectations for themselves. By doing so, they can ensure their well-being while providing the best possible care for their loved ones. Remember, in the world of caregiving, taking care of yourself is as important as taking care of others. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss an episode of Caregiver Relief. If you have any thoughts, ideas, or suggestions for future videos, topics you'd like us to cover, or even improvements you'd like to see on the channel, drop them in the comments below.